Hello and welcome to a short video in which I'm going to demonstrate importing session data in Pro Tools, specifically importing data from a template. I'm going to mix. I want to use my template. My template has all kinds of cool things that I've figured out in other mix projects, submixes and reverb returns and all that sort of stuff. In this particular situation, I'm preparing to do an immersive mix, an Atmos mix, and I have all my object beds in my template, and I don't want to build those every time I mix. I want to use them as I already created them, so I'm going to import them from my template. And so importing is very easy in Pro Tools. You go up to File, and you go to Import Session Data. This is an incredibly useful feature in Pro Tools. I use it all the time. I think most power users in Pro Tools do it. So much that I have memorized the macro, Option-Shift-I, there it is. And then in my mix, on my mix computer here, I even have a folder over here, a shortcut over to my templates folder. And since this is going to be an Atmos situation, I'm going to open up my Atmos template and open it up. And it warns me right away before I get into the session data window. It says, hey, your template is not at the same start time, SEMPTY time, as the file you're importing into. And this doesn't matter at all. No big deal, because I'm not importing any audio tracks and I don't have to worry about them being in sync. And so you get into this window, Import Session Data window. This is so powerful. Definitely you want to learn how to use this. You'll find many uses for it if you don't already use it. If I was importing audio tracks, this little area here, Media Options, would be very important. It would tell me, do I want to link to the audio files, or do I want to copy them fresh into a new folder, those sorts of things. So doesn't matter here because I'm not importing any audio, but it certainly matters in other situations. If I were changing sample rate, I would use this over here, some really useful features for that. In this situation, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to import all these tracks from my template, and I always forget to do this, where am I going to import them in the session? And I always remember, oops, and I exit out and I go, I'm going to import these tracks from my template into underneath whatever track I have selected. And right now it would put it under my floor tom samples. I'd have all these import, and that's silly. Where I want to put it, for me at least, is at the top of my session. I want to put all my import data. You may want to put it at the bottom. I don't know. I put it at the top. That's where I put all my aux returns and master faders and object beds and all that. So I'm going to put it right after this ref track. And of course, this is going to be on the left of my mix window. And now I'm going to go back in again. I get to use the macro again, this macro this time. Option-Shift-I, import session data. Select my template. Okay. Agree to the start time being different. Don't worry about audio files. And now I'm going to select all my tracks, and I can just select all of them. I could select them individually, or I could select them all with a Command A. If I wanted to get fancy, I could assign individual tracks I'm importing to on top of existing tracks, which is kind of cool. This is a list of existing tracks. Sometimes you want to import plugins from some part of your template or another file onto an existing track, that sort of thing. Maybe you want to copy drum sounds from one song to another. This is how you do that. I'm not doing any of that. Right now, I'm just importing all new tracks, Command A. Down here, I can pick other session data I might want. Excuse me. I may want the tempo, the key signature. I definitely want my memory locations and window configurations because I use that while mixing. I got some stuff programmed. So those are kind of important. And if I was importing actual audio tracks, would I want the main playlist or not? So this doesn't really matter right now. This button here is very powerful. You can pick what data you're actually going to import for those tracks. You can be very restrictive. I think Option works here and clears them all, or Option selects them all. And do you want your playlist? Do you want clip gain? Do you want the track color? Do you want to just import the plugins or the plugin settings? All of that. You have choices for all that. It's pretty cool. It's very, very powerful. Avid certainly got this right on Pro Tools. It's very powerful and cool. So I hit OK. I'm just going to import all this stuff the way it is with my rulers and my window configurations, and boom. And it just imported them all. And it's warning me that my template has some plugins that this particular computer doesn't have, and I'll figure out a way around that. And now you can see here's all my template. It's actually all these object beds for my Atmos mix, and then I even have a drum submix, and then we're on to the actual tracks. And of course, so the left side of the session is all my imported stuff, and the right side of the session is all my audio tracks. So just want to demonstrate that. It's kind of useful. I use it all the time. One last thing to say, hey, when you're mixing, if you're like me, you may come up with a really cool reverb on a song or a cool delay patch or something like that. When you're all done, open up your template file and use this import session data feature and import that cool reverb you created into your template. And so keep adding to your template so it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you'll have these awesome effects ready to go, or submixes, or whatever it is you need. So okay, so that's how I've built my template. It's just every time I've created something cool, I've imported it. All right, hope this helps. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a good day.